something seems to be troubling you. Won't you tell us all about it?
Start at the beginning.
Yeah. And when you come to the end, stop.
Hello, Internet Dwellers, and welcome back to Top Shelf Disney Animation Studios Library, the show that we watch old Disney movies and talk about them every week. ? I am Jeff. That's TC laughing.
Hello. Oh, boy.
And you guys have no idea the length of issues we had before starting to record this week's episode.
The technical issues were 11-fold at
my goodness.
Trying to get this episode started. And it's very, very it's a convenience, very not coincidental. It makes sense because the movie we're talking about is utter nonsense. So it would be proper for us to go through nonsense and by us I mean me, to go through nonsense.
Well, and I started worrying. So like last week, after we recorded last week's episode, I got a brand new computer. So I swapped platforms, and I'm like, oh man, is all of this issue my fault because I got a brand new computer? Like, is it really me? Like, oh, I hope it's not my fault.
Well, I think we've proved that not only was it probably my fault, my technology feels so bad that you have such new technology that it decided to just poop the bed.
Once it heard that it took my machine 10 seconds to do a full system restart, it just went, oh, I am no good anymore. It was crying. It was crying like a certain blonde-haired small British child who decided to take a nap and trip out on LSD. Which is which gets us to a
segue. Ooh.
Yeah, segues. That brings us today an episode we watched. Now, we realized this last week, because we realized this after we got done recording. We never actually said what movie we were watching this week, did we?
Yeah, we didn't. I kicked out ourselves because after we were wrapping up. Typically what happens is after we finish recording, we end up talking for like another 45 minutes to an hour.
Usually, yep.
And either we realize we missed points, or we come up with new points, or we realize such things as, oh, we didn't tell everyone what next week's episode is.
I made a comment. I did, because I listened to it. I did say Alice in Wonderland, but I never specifically specified that was this week's episode. So big old apologies for everybody. It's like if you weren't
madness, Jeff.
Oh my
Simply
goodness,
madness.
That's silly. I can't believe that we didn't say the movie's title. Well, I'm going to say it this time. I'm also going to say the word package film at least 12 more times, just because
God.
I'm starting to feel a little empty from not having to say that all the time as well.
I do not miss it.
I don't miss it, but you know what? And I'm going to get going right off the bat for this movie. I wasn't a fan of this movie. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, so in watching it, I'm not going to disagree with you. In watching this, I had a hard time wrapping my mind around why this movie is so beloved.
Yeah.
And because this is the story, Jeff. Mm-hmm. For those of you who may not have seen Alice in Wonderland in your lifetime, a little girl falls asleep, has some weird dreams, and wakes up.
Yep.
That's the movie.
And it's so like I couldn't tell you the last time I watched Alice in Wonderland. It was probably when I was a child, like this version of Alice in Wonderland. I have unfortunately seen both the two modern movies, the live action ones.
The Tim Burton and the Tim Burton-esque sequel.
Exactly. But like I couldn't tell you when the last time I saw it. I remember bits and pieces. You know, like I remember, like I know Tweedledee and Tweedledum is in it. Like I remember the Cheshire Cat, but like in the beginning, I'm like, oh, so is like my first note is, oh, so is Alice like asleep? Did she fall asleep? And is that what this all is? As a joking note, I was not serious until the end, and I went, oh, she actually is asleep. Oh, way to just cop out there, movie.
It's very rare, very, very rare that the "it was all a dream" ending works, and by very rare I mean Ebenezer Scrooge, It's a Wonderful Life, and maybe Alice in Wonderland. Other than that, if you end your story with "It was all a dream,"
That just means that you don't know how to end it. But see, like those are great examples because those examples are built around it purposefully being a dream. You know, I feel like the cop out of it was all a dream was just because somebody wanted to come up with all these ridiculously crazy ideas and had no way to clearly write them into the story. It was just like, I have no idea how to end it. It was all a dream. Ooh, yeah. And like, no, you stop. No.
It's unfortunate because narratively, like the way it's plotted, the way it's scripted, this movie, it is nonsense, and it does fall into some of the trappings of the movies the World War II movies, the package movies.
Right.
That they don't have a clear narrative, but there are so many characters and such wonderful animation. And how many songs are in this movie? There was like 20 songs in this movie.
Oh yeah, I know. Like I believe if I was doing my research correctly, they said this film holds the record for the most songs, and I think the most most characters in a Disney film.
Wow, that does not surprise me, and it's good and bad. It's good. It's amazing that they were able to accomplish that. The animation, like I said, is really quite great. Mm-hmm. But because there's too much, there's no really. It's just really just Alice wandering from one place to another. And now I know that's not the movie's fault because that's the source material. The source material doesn't really have a clear narrative. It's just wander from one thing, one piece of ridiculousness to the next.
Right, and it's so hard. Like my biggest issue is that at the end of this movie, you sit there and you're like, okay, so for any good film, a character should have some sort of arc or character arc or journey or whatever, and hopefully the main character who you follow and you spend all the time has learned something. Is all that Alice learned was that her life isn't that bad after all? Is that the thin takeaway from it?
Yeah, but to be fair, that is a good lesson to learn, that the grass isn't always greener on the other side, and be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. Mm-hmm. So there's certainly a plethora of analyses of the book, of the movies, of this movie in particular, that this is all just one big allegory for childhood into adolescence, that the growing up, that you can't have your flights of fancy and your daydreams and expect the world to work, that you have to age out of that. Right. But there are better versions of that story. Wizard of Oz is the best example I can think of a very similar, very, very similar narrative that is structured better than Alice in Wonderland.
Mm-hmm. And I do agree with you, because that's what I was trying to figure out. I was trying to figure out what this movie was, what is it? What's the message it's trying to tell me? What's the point of it? Because oftentimes we obviously have dissected some of the other films and tried to figure out if there was a hidden meaning behind it or what it was referring to. And the one that I could keep seeing now, obviously the one that everybody likes to talk about is that this movie is just about a drug trip. Because of she eats mushrooms, and then when she's in the tea party with the Mad Hatter, at one point she takes a sip from the coffee cup where the Hatter has just filled it full of sugar, and she puts her mouth into it and comes away, and there's a white powder mark on her upper lip below her nose. So that's cocaine. And she has an LSD trip. Okay, whatever. I get it. I can see it. But
that's the low hanging fruits. Go ahead, Jeff. Dig deeper. What do you got?
I like the idea that it is an allegory for growing up because there's a lot of symbolism in it that you could definitely see that. I mean, she starts off being very naive, right? She's willing to just go with anything. She is willingly goes into a hole to chase a rabbit for some reason. It just falls in the hole and has no problem with it. Just yep, okay, this is cool. I'm down with this. And so she's very, because she's got the mind of a child where she doesn't see that there's anything bad about her situation.
Yeah, the innocence of youth.
Right. But then like we have these moments where like she gets bigger but she doesn't really ever seem to fit anywhere, which could be like a symbolism for like the internal emotional struggle that like a lot of teenagers tend to have, that they're growing up and they're getting, they're changing and they just don't seem to fit. They don't think they fit anywhere.
Or the actual growth spurts that kids go through.
Exactly. Her voice cracks when she's singing the flower song.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, okay, no, I don't think girls' voices crack as much as like a boy's voice tends to. You see more of the boys' voices are changing when they hit puberty, but yeah,
I'll have to ask my manager.
But it's like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Like as the movie goes along, her voice cracks at one point when she has previously sang without a problem. So it's like, oh, okay, there could be something there. What was the other one? There was one more thing. After she leaves the tea party, and there's the glasses bird, and then like the mirror creature, whatever those things are, that comes and gets on her face and like wears her, and they're having fun, and she takes it off, and she's like, no more nonsense. Like she's actually kind of had she's had enough of it at that point.
I'm ready to grow up.
Exactly. Like I'm like, oh, so that's the moment of a moment of her life when she's like, oh, no more of this kid stuff. I'm an adult now. I don't want to deal with this. That she had no problem dealing with 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, and she's able to problem solve her way through the finale, which is, I can take these. I can grow big again, and she rescues herself more or less.
Right.
With the clever use of mushrooms. But I get it. I can completely find the charm in the nonsense of this movie. Earlier I just said I don't get why this is so popular, but I do. I understand. I can see the wonderful escapism and absurdity of this movie and its content and the imagery. And yes, I can see why people dig it. Mm-hmm. But it feels shallow in the end. We're digging a little deep here to talk about it being this allegory for adolescence and whatnot, but from a writer's point of view, which Jeff and I, you and I are both writers, and
yep.
we are. That I feel like that might be the first thing we look at sometimes is how scripts are structured and how stories are structured, and the structure of this movie is. It's rough, man.
It so really is.
Whereas I can see the charm of this, much like I can see the charm of Alice in Wizard of Oz, or Nightmare Before Christmas, and the other Hot Topic products.
I can definitely see why this is a Hot Topic product, because my other thought that popped in my head while watching is I'm like, oh, so this movie is solely comprised of all of those weird kind of drug trippy vignettes from all the package films that we watched, like that one song in Three Caballeros, or like just like that weird, what is going on? Or like the pink elephant scene from Dumbo, like just that weird side of Disney they did as in a single film, and and it's cool to see that. But it's just so it takes a while to get used to, because it just I felt like, okay, when are we actually going to get a break? Like it never felt like was ever a spot where it stopped.
Jeff, that's life, man. Life doesn't give you breaks.
You know when I want my break? I want my break on my unbirthday. That's the day that I want my break.
Let's talk about that. The Mad Hatter and the March Hare scene is, to me, the most memorable scene of this movie. And it's that the unbirthday song, the Merry Unbirthday to you, to me. Like this is the nonsense to the nth degree. As the rest of this movie is a lot of like one thing after the other. That tea scene is epic in its ridiculousness, and maybe that's it. Maybe the rest of the movie needed to not just double down, but triple down on the wackiness. But you know what? No, that wouldn't have worked, because then we would just be complaining even more about its nonsense. But maybe why is that, Jeff? I'm broken. I've gone cross-eyed.
I will agree though. Like that scene, the tea party scene, in my opinion, is one of the two best parts of the entire film. Like I think it's probably the best part, but there's a close second that there's a good chunk of the Queen scene that I kind of dug, like parts of it. Not all of it as a whole. The Tea Party as a whole is the one scene that I enjoyed just because it's so like I'm at this point in the movie where I'm like, yep, it can't get any weirder. Oh look, it got weirder. But so weird, it's so good.
It's because this whole movie is no plot and all characters, and the March Hare and the Mad Hatter and the Dormouse are the best characters, and then the Red Queen herself. Perhaps because they have the most information or disinformation when it comes to the Tea Party. But the White Rabbit is fine, but he's just the same thing over and over again. I'm late, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late. The best thing with the White Rabbit is when they fix his watch.
Right. I love that scene so much. And he put all the crap in it. He shuts it back up and he takes a knife and he trims off the excess like jam that's like left out of it and then hands him the watch back.
Yeah, that scene is classic. The Tea Party scene is one of the most classic golden era Disney moments. But in a movie that isn't all that classic in itself, it's so weird, Jeff. This movie is so weird, and wrapping my mind around it is so difficult.
So it's kind of strange. Okay, so I mentioned about like how and what we've already seen in a lot of the package films that there was a lot of like most of each of those films were very normal, and then they would have one really just over the top, goofy, ridiculous. Yeah, exactly. Like, where did this come from? So one interesting thing, and this is something that I was going to bring up last week, but I ended up saving for this week. So Cinderella and Alice in Wonderland were in production simultaneously.
Oh, okay. Two blonde girls in blue outfits. Gotcha.
Exactly. And Disney decided,
Oh, man. We're following up with a third girl in a blue outfit.
Yes, we are.
Sorry, anyway.
Just
I
one
cut you
more.
off.
No, so Walt decided to hold a contest between the two animation departments to see who could get their movie done first, the people making Cinderella and the people making Alice in Wonderland. Cinderella won, and that's why it was released first. But like Alice in Wonderland, like just barely missed winning out. However,
That's so strange.
right?
Okay,
Like, isn't that kind of weird? Like, however, I'm the way that I'm looking at it is, I'm like, oh, so Cinderella doesn't have any of this weird, what the hell was that scene moments in it. Alice in Wonderland is solely comprised of those types of scenes. So I'm wondering if the people who came up with those crazy weird ideas were only on the Alice in Wonderland side.
Well, first of all, competition breeds results. So that was a smart business move by Walt.
Yep.
But it's and weirdly, Cinderella looks better.
Yeah.
To have been completed first, it looks better. There's the paintings of the backgrounds, the matte painting backgrounds, the fluidity of the animation. I don't know. I guess there is less wackiness, and maybe that's why it was easier to complete.
Right.
Because yes, Alice in Wonderland is just, well, first of all, we just already said it. There's more characters in this than any Disney movie, and they are doing a lot of weird stuff.
Oh yeah, a lot of weird stuff in this, and that you brought up. They brought up a really good point. Maybe it's because Alice in Wonderland is the crazy characters, whereas Cinderella was humans. They were all human except for the standard, traditional animal characters, I guess.
Right, the mice and Lucifer.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, the cat. I keep thinking like Lucifer wasn't in that one. What are you talking? Oh, that's right, the cat.
Should we start keeping track of cats in addition to horses? Because we have Dinah the cat in this. We had Lucifer last time.
We probably should. I'm realizing Disney
Figaro and Pinocchio.
Oh man, Figaro. I'm starting to think that Disney had a thing for cats because and
I don't know. It's either going to be cats or horses. I think horses are going to beat out.
Yeah, because you know what? It's easier to have a horse sidekick than a cat sidekick most times. The bad guy's not going to go riding off into battle with their cat.
Well, anyway, back on. Although that would be a Disney movie I'd want to. Okay, anyway, these
giant
two,
cat? Yes.
these two heroines, Cinderella and Alice, they really couldn't be much different, could they? They're the level-headedness and logic behind Cinderella, despite her flights of fancy and befriending the animals and accepting her circumstances, versus the very, very naive, childlike persona of Alice and her slow development of adulthood, I suppose.
Right.
They're very different in that. I guess they're both proactive in the end, but.
Right, and
Cinderella does feel like the better hero than Alice.
Yeah, I feel like there's, and this is where I struggle with Alice in Wonderland, because I feel like as she walks off at the end of this movie, I feel like Alice, I would give her like a week and she probably would be back to herself beforehand. I feel
well, if you're gonna go off the books, it took her a year to go from the Adventure in Wonderland to going through the Looking Glass. So you're not too far off. Split the difference.
Yeah, so 6 months. I give her 6 months. But it just but it does. She learned how to take care of herself and how to get herself, back home at the end of the story, but I just didn't get the sense that she learned anything. I feel like she's not walking away from all of this with anything more in her head than, wow, wasn't that a crazy dream? That's all that I'm seeing out of Alice. And it's unfortunate because you think an experience, well, actually, I don't know. I think an experience like this would probably seriously mess a person up.
It would drive them to drugs, I think is what you're saying.
Oh, so maybe a little bit of mushrooms and cocaine? Oh, I see.
A little bit of acid, too.
That's contagious. Don't do that.
Your Ed Wynn is much better than mine.
Well, I learned from the best people. So anyways, yes.
Interestingly, the Alice books from the 18th century, or 18th century, the 19th century, the 1800s, were quite popular. These books were popular even in the 50s when this movie came out. But this movie was a flop.
Yeah.
This was a huge financial failure for Walt, and we will see the effects of this failure in a couple of the other movies in the new style that's going to come out in the late 60s, a much scratchier, unrefined style in the artwork and the hand-drawn animation. We're going to see the results of this failure in 101 Dalmatians and Jungle Book and Aristocats. We'll see it in the later half of these 10 films that we're grouping together here.
So it's definitely one of those cases where it's while it wasn't crazy successful now, that affected the amount of money that they had to work on the next series of films that was already probably in production at this point.
Yeah, and so Walt Disney himself had a love for the Alice character and the Adventures in Wonderland, because before he made Mickey, before he made Oswald, which was his character before Mickey, he did 57 short films about Alice. It was a live-action Alice on animated backgrounds with a cat. 57 Alice shorts, Alice comedies as they were called.
He's got a thing for Alice.
Well, I don't know if it was Alice per se. I think it was the idea of going into Wonderland where literally anything can happen.
Right.
And the fun, the latitude an artist will have in a world where anything can happen. That's a great place to play in. As an animator, you can really test the boundaries of animation, and it's those Alice cartoons that led Disney to Oswald, which led to Mickey, which led to the movies we are watching now. And this history that he had with the Alice cartoons, I bet this really, really sucked for him that it didn't succeed as he had hoped it would.
Right. Yeah, because the movie had a budget of about $3 million, which nowadays is about, I'm not this good, I just did the math, is about $28 million. But it only earned $5.2 million at the box office in 1951.
Wow.
Now, let's do a quick comparison, shall we? Cinderella.
Sure.
Cinderella had a budget of $2.9 million. It, in the box office, brought in $260 million.
Woohoo! Oh boy, it's gotta. I really think that comes down to the structure of the story. But if you think about it, who really is a huge fan of Cinderella now in comparison to the fandom of Alice in Wonderland? Hell, if just look at the live action remakes Disney did, the Cinderella live action remake they did a few years ago, that did all right.
Right.
It did okay. The live action Alice in Wonderland that Tim Burton directed was the highest grossing movie that came out that year.
Which is just weird.
Which is insane. Okay. That's insane. But it's so interesting to think that when these two movies came out, that the one that was more successful was Cinderella, which is really just kind of, in a more modern perspective, boring. It's simple.
Yeah.
It's a princess. Hey, once upon a time, she meets a prince. The end. Alice in Wonderland is what?
Yeah, all the crazy things you could think of. She falls down a hole and she runs into like she floats down the river for a little bit. Then she goes into a house with a doorknob that sounds like Boris Karloff, and then he doesn't let her in, but she shrinks and grows and shrinks and grows, and then he has a key, and then she lets him in, and then Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and then there's a story about a walrus that eats babies. That's disturbing. Oh man, I was watching that going, he's not gonna eat.
He did.
He's not gonna eat.
At least they did it. At least they did it off screen.
He ate them. Why did he eat them? Oh my goodness! Kill him! Kill the walrus! Like that's just. Yes, but at least he did it off screen.
I go to the Dogma conversation, the movie Dogma by Kevin Smith, where Matt Damon is talking to the nun and how the walrus and the carpenter is actually an allegory towards Christianity and the major religions of the East, and tricking all these oysters into following them only to devour them.
Oh man, I can
right?
believe
The carpenter leading his people to their demise, right? That would be the Jesus character, and the walrus like Ganesh, right?
Wow, deep meaning. See, I am never that smart. I thought I was proud of the fact that I'm like, well, Alice got bigger, so that means she's growing up, right? But that's as much as I got. Yeah,
it's so strange, the popularity of this series, of the different iterations of Alice and whatnot, and this movie took a very long time to be released on video, and now it's like this is such a standard kind of oddball weirdo thing to like. There's the left of center people. I used Hot Topic as an example before, which can be a stigma or it's a fair assessment. But the randomness of Alice is so popular that I'm just surprised it took so long for them to not only release this thing on DVD and Blu-ray, but even to give it a special edition release. Because I don't know which version you watched, Jeff. Did the Cheshire Cat have a song?
Oh boy, you know what?
Okay,
I don't think so.
There's a special edition release of this where they took one of the 30-plus songs they didn't use in this movie, they recorded it, and they animated it, and this is kind of tied into the fact that Sterling Holloway, it makes his appearance in...
I was gonna say, I'm like, oh, hey, look at that, Sterling Holloway alert. But it's so weird because he real quick, he does not sound like himself to me.
No, because he does who is he? He's the Cheshire Cat, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, the other modern day, you're going to hear him in every single Disney thing, sang the Cheshire Cat song in the special edition, which is Jim Cummings.
Oh, of course it's Jim Cummings. Literally, Jim Cummings has done every voice of every cartoon character of my childhood.
That's right, yeah. So, whereas Sterling Holloway's name is going to keep coming up for quite a few more movies, but eventually Jim Cummings' name is going to come in, and then we'll always talk about him. And then we won't even get a chance to talk about him as much as we could, because he's voiced like every cartoon series voice that you could possibly imagine.
It's not like real quick for any of you out there who don't know who Jim Cummings is. Just look him up on IMDb and then just look at his credits. Like you'll look at him you look at his picture, you're like, he does not look familiar. I've never seen him, but like his films that he is known for, real quick, the 4 that are on IMDb is The Lion King, Shrek, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and Aladdin. And you're like, oh, okay. He has 495 acting credits on IMDb.
Yes. Yeah. I would bet at least half of those are Disney based.
Oh, yeah. Easily. Because he's also now like Tigger and Winnie the Pooh nowadays.
Yep. He does all the Winnie the Pooh voices. He was Darkwing Duck. He was Don Carnage on Tailspin. He was...
he's Taz.
Who else?
He's Taz, like Tasmania Devil. He's
the Tasmanian Devil, yeah. Oh,
like, and then he's just done voices. Like he'll do, he does a lot of, I think he does like a lot of, I'm sorry, I'm spacing on the term that I'm trying to think. He does a lot of like animal-esque voices and like, yeah, I don't even know how you want to describe that technically, but
he does a lot of like supporting characters more than he does main characters. You can hear him on the Clone Wars for Star Wars.
Oh,
he's everywhere. But he did the song for the Cheshire Cat in the special edition of Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, it's so I'm not surprised. I honestly, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, okay, of course he did. Who else would do the voice of nowadays? He does the singing voice of Scar in The Lion King.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought Tim Rice did the. Or not Tim, Jeremy Irons.
Jeremy Irons. This is okay. This is something for The Lion King. Technically, there's always been this long-standing rumor that Jeremy Irons did the singing voice up until a certain part in the song, which he threw his voice out, and there's a noticeable quality difference, like change in the song if you listen to it. But apparently, that's been debunked, and Jeremy Irons is like, I've never recorded the song. Or something like that. Like that was
My
the
whole
rumor,
life's a lie.
right? Yeah. Like I'll point that off camera. And for those of you listening, when we get to The Lion King, try to remind me because I'll gladly put in that audio snippet to let you see if you can hear where everyone claims Jim Cummings took over. Yep. Because once it's pointed out to you, you'll only ever hear it that way because that's how it is for me. So,
despite us tooting the horn of Sterling Holloway once again,
yes.
Ed Wynn is really the best voice in this whole. But it's just because he's one of the greatest voices that you can hear in the Disney era. He was Uncle Alfred in Mary Poppins, right?
Yep.
He's in Search of the Castaways. He's not in Search of the Castaways. He's in a lot of live action Disney movies as well. But he's in one of the very first episodes of The Twilight Zone. This guy is classic 50s era stardom here.
Yep.
For such a weird-looking man with such a weird-sounding voice.
And it's funny because if any of you listening have never seen Ed Wynn, go into IMDb. I feel like a broken record, TC.
I have a question for you, Jeff.
Yes.
Why is the Mad Hatter the main character of the Alice in Wonderland movies that came out? What is it because Johnny Depp played the character that they were like, well, we have Johnny Depp, let's make him the main character?
Partially, yes. I feel like that's the case. Secondly, though, you brought up a good point earlier when you made the comment that the Tea Party scene is probably the scene that most people recognize prior even to the live action film. If you ask somebody to name a scene from Alice in Wonderland the cartoon, they probably would have named this scene. So I feel like you already brought it up because it's the one scene that's the funniest, in a movie that's absolutely crazy, the craziest scene in the movie, but is the most entertaining and the most fun. I think what it was like, well, that's what everybody remembers. The TV show, the live action TV show from the late 80s, early 90s that I know we've already talked about on this podcast that I watched. It was one of the main characters was the Mad Hatter. Like,
is that the one with the there's the blonde lady who plays the White Queen. She kind of sounds like this. Okay.
Yep. Yep. Like, and it's disturbing. If anybody has ever watched it, I know there's a couple clips on YouTube of episodes from it. I think it's just Alice in. Is it just Alice in Wonderland? I'm thinking yes. I think it's just Alice in Wonderland.
It's so strange because the popularity of these books, there was a big popularity, like a good fan base for Alice in Wonderland, and the true lovers of the books have not liked any of the adaptations. The British people did not like this Alice in Wonderland that we're discussing here because, not the live action one, the Disney one, because it was too Americanized for their tastes, and a lot of criticism that has come in the past 100 years is how dark people have interpreted the source material, whereas in its original release, in its original fandom, people saw it as light and whimsical and not these deep-seated alternative meanings that people have dug into it and interpreted it as. So
right.
that live-action version you're talking about, I can remember scaring the crap out of me when I was a kid.
It's called Adventures in Wonderland. That's what the TV show is called. I had to look it up because I'm like, I otherwise I'll be mad if I don't. So
another thing is that there are no adaptations of just the one book or the other. That they always mix and match the Alice Through the Looking Glass and Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And as far as I know, there isn't any straight adaptation of one or the other. It's always a mix.
Right, because in the two books please forgive me, I've never read the books themselves just because I've never gotten around to it. But wasn't
I can't read.
I can't read. I got nowhere else to go. But isn't isn't there's two different queens, right? Like there's a queen in each book?
Mm-hmm. There's the Queen of Hearts, which is the woman that we see in this movie, and then there's the Red Chess Queen, because Alice Through the Looking Glass has all these chess pieces, like the White Queen, the Red Queen, the Bishop, the Knights, the Pawns. Like that's all from Alice in the Looking Glass, and the Red Queen is the off with his head queen, not the Queen of Hearts. And in fact, Lewis Carroll himself was frustrated by how often people messed that up. That he's like, no, they're two different characters. They're two different characters. And eventually he relented and just said, yeah, fine, they're the same character.
Poor guy. Oh, man. That, as a writer, that would just drive me bonkers. If after all these years, I'm just like, fine, yes, these two people are the same character, whatever. Just stop bugging me.
There's another frustration he faced, which is the riddle, why is a raven like a writing desk? Because he wrote that specifically with no answer. There is no answer to it. It is utter nonsense. It is not meant to have an answer. And for years and decades, people were like, you meant this, didn't you? You meant to say how is a raven like a writing desk because Edgar Allan Poe wrote on both of them. And that was another thing where he relented after decades, where he finally just went, yeah, fine. That's
whatever. Oh, that poor gent. That poor gent. So, like, I'm trying to think of. I will say this, TC. As much, kind of like making fun of this movie or just kind of tearing it apart or like berating it a little bit as we are, I will say there was one moment in the film outside of the tea party scene. One moment in the film that I let out a very large, very loud laugh because for some reason I thought it was hilarious. And it was once Alice got into the kingdom and the card guards showed up and they do a sound off and they count 1 through 10.
Right.
And
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, Jack.
Yep, and I'm like
10, Jack.
I'm like when that happens and it's just because there's two sets of each number and then it's just the one Jack at the end. It's just like all by himself going Jack, and they just kind of hops over. That made me laugh so much. I loved it, and I'm like, what? Why is this the thing that made me laugh? Like, I guess because I get maybe in my head because I'm like, oh, well, it's just 1 through 10. Oh, it's play, yeah, because they're cars. I get it. But the fact that they went that one extra step to bring in the Jack, just and made it kind of sound a little doofy too. Just Jack, and then hop in. It just made me laugh. That was great.
It's strange because the Knave of Hearts is a major character in the book Alice in Adventures in Wonderland. In fact, it's his trial that's the main focus of the end of the book, not Alice's. Just to show how adaptation is an art and how things are interpreted is often much different than the source material.
Right.
I completely forgot about the King of Hearts and found him rather amusing because you have this big, gigantic personality of the Queen of Hearts, and then the mousy little king. Who's what about a trial? Can we do a trial? Trials are fun.
who comes off very. He kind of seems a little whipped too. Like
oh yeah.
And of course, if the Queen of Hearts was your wife. That personality, and pretty much at any given chance, she just says off with their head to pretty much anybody. I think I'd be like that too. Be like, okay, yep, whatever she says, let's just let her do it.
It's so fun. I was very amused by that little guy.
Speaking of that jury scene, TC, I don't know if you happened to notice, but when the jury came out in the box.
Okay.
There was a very familiar-looking jury member among them.
Oh, okay. I did not notice. Who do we have?
Now, one could argue that because it's a jury, he was dressed a little more nicely than he normally is seen. He was not allowed to bring in his umbrella, his cigar, or his top hat, and he was wearing a black jacket. But Jose...
Oh, Joe Carioca.
Joe Carioca was in the jury box.
Oh, that's great. I just said we'd never see him again.
Yep. I mean, he never speaks, and you could argue that maybe it's just another parrot, but I mean, the model was pretty dang on, except for he was wearing a dark jacket, I guess, but I'm like,
right, that's cool.
Fan rumor, or like the big, and I guess that's kind of a theory. So I'm jumping ahead a little bit there, but the theory is that is supposed to be Joe in the box. So
based on Joe's ability and the movies he was in with his ridiculousness, it would make sense that someone who does that would be from Wonderland, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Oh, and speaking of that, you know what? I was greatly upset that the Aracuan or the Rakuan bird did not. Oh, like during the forest sequence when Alice is meeting all the different types of animals and the weird creatures, I'm like, that is a perfect spot for him to be. Like, because the movie's already kind of messing with you and bending like reality and stuff, and like that's perfect for that character. Like, why wasn't he in that scene?
We will never see that. We will never see that bird again.
I know, and it makes me so angry because I'm like, there's so many times. Why was it Bambi and his mom that keeps showing up in movies? Why isn't it that
I want
damn
the Akuna
bird? He doesn't even have to say anything. It could just be him standing there and like a shot of the forest, and it's him standing in the tree, and then just needs to do that, you know, and that's it. All I need to hear, and I would be happy. Every movie, Disney, stop with the hidden Mickeys. Let's get the bird back in. I want to see that.
The Akuna bird. What birds I did enjoy was the flamingo karaoke sticks. See, we spent the majority of this podcast, this episode, just kind of criticizing the movie, but I did say that there are so many neat characters and neat moments of animation in this whole thing that, despite our criticism, there is some great stuff in this movie, and like the whole croquet scene with the little hedgehogs and the flamingo sticks. Oh man, like when Alice is fighting with her stick to try to get him to hit, and he's kicking her up on his feet and going limp, and that's really great stuff.
They cut back to her, and she's on the ground, and he's holding her.
Yeah.
Like,
there's that great moment where the audience is like laughing, and they stop, and then they applaud, and then they cut back to her, and the flamingo has her. Now that's comedy.
It is, and that's the thing. Is like the way that I look at this film, I look at it as it's not really a normal movie per se. Like, it is not a Cinderella type film. It still has a story. Yes, okay. It has a story. The girl goes through an adventure. She comes back home and she realizes that life is good where she's at. So there is a thin character development or character arc there. But it's not a normal Disney film. If you look at it from the perspective of, it is an hour and 15 another packaged film of a bunch of little vignette gags and jokes. You know, and just like standalone little bits that do have the connective tissue of that character of Alice going from one to the other, then it's a completely different film to look at. Now, does that save the movie in my eyes from being okay film? Not really, but it is still enjoyable, at least in my perspective. Which I guess at this point, TC, I might as well ask, where are you gonna put this on your list? See what I did
Well,
there?
I'm going to put it below Cinderella. So I'm going to keep Cinderella in the number 1 slot, just for the cohesive narrative, just for the nonsense of Alice, just prevents it from being. It's just it did feel a bit too much like the package movies. It did feel a little more aimless than Cinderella. I don't think Cinderella's going to stay in the number 1 slot because there are some really fine films coming up. But between the two of them right now, as much as I like moments in Alice in Wonderland as an overall film, I'm a super random tangent guy. Listening to this podcast, people can be rest assured we've given enough of our personalities to show how often we can segue.
Right.
But I don't know. Alice in Wonderland never really did it for me, and this movie itself didn't win me over.
So now
either, so.
it's better. You're putting it at number 2, knocking Ichabod and Mr. Toad down, right?
Oh shoot! I completely forgot about Ichabod and Mr. Toad.
I would take that as a yes then, because if you completely forgot about that movie, then maybe
that's
not
a good
answered
sign. Itself, didn't it? So I will put Alice at 2 and Ichabod at 3. Oh dang! The fact that I forgot it must mean that Alice, or it could just be the fact that I just watched Alice in Wonderland.
That's true.
It's been 3 weeks since I've seen Sleepy Hollow. I want to get your answer, but I'm going to babble enough for you to have time to think, unless you already have your answer. Tim Burton adapted both of those movies.
That is true.
Sleepy Hollow and Alice in Wonderland.
Tim Burton is on this, let's remake all of Disney. Let's just do it.
So weird. I prefer his Sleeping Hollow by a long shot, but
now
because I really don't care for his Alice in Wonderland.
If his Alice in Wonderland was rated R,
oh God, no.
it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't work. No, look, okay. And we could talk about this because this is definitely something. I wish I had watched the live action Cinderella, because that would have been something to briefly talk about when we watched Cinderella last week. But I have not seen it yet. But because this is Alice in Wonderland and the Tim Burton, and that is the Disney remake of their film, we can definitely talk about it. I will say, at least the live action version of Alice in Wonderland, it does fit a Tim Burton-esque, his style. Maybe I wish he did more of his old school style more than his modern weird style, I guess.
Yeah, once you can throw quotes up on a Tim Burton movie,
right?
It became less charming.
Yeah, but because he was really good at making that dark kind of weird films, and that had kind of their own look and style to them, which I could see why this movie should have adapted into that style. Unfortunately, it's just so much CGI and Crispin Glover. Yeah, just not gonna go there. So anyways, I just wanted to bring that up while we were discussing that. My order, I'm right there with you this week, TC. I'm putting it at number 2. I love Sleepy Hollow out of the Ichabod and Mr. Toad. I really do enjoy it, but this Alice in Wonderland was definitely not better than Cinderella, and at least Alice in Wonderland was more entertaining as a whole film than The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. So yes, we are in agreement again for the 3rd week in a row, sir.
All right, so we've done it.
We have done it there, but we'll have to wait and see next week what happens with next week. Anyways, any last thoughts or comments or things you wanted to discuss for this movie before we move on for the week, I guess?
Yeah. Let me just say that though we did criticize this movie, as I said, there are a lot of great moments in this, but the Alice and the books themselves have been public domain since 1907. They became public domain, so anyone can take a crack at adapting Alice in Wonderland. That's why there's so many versions of Alice in Wonderland.
Right.
But I was always much more of a fan of Wizard of Oz. Maybe I just saw that movie at a more formidable time in my life when I was little as opposed to Alice in Wonderland, or I somehow subconsciously appreciated the more structured narrative of Wizard of Oz. But there have been some really cool adaptations of Alice and her adventures.
Mm-hmm.
There's a real twisted, dark video game version.
Oh yeah,
There's Alan Moore did a series called The Lost Girls, which features Alice, Dorothy, and I think Wendy is the third girl in that series, which is it's Alan Moore, so don't expect children to be reading that.
And if your children are reading that, what is wrong with you? Also, how old are your children? Because maybe that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, they're 42.
Okay. Well, never mind then. That's fine.
But I do have a couple comments from our Facebook page, which if those listening would like to comment, we always post the episodes announcing that we always post what episodes we're going to talk about, so you can comment there. Or after we've posted, we like to get people's reactions to it. And Jessica commented on a few of our episodes. Looks like she's been catching up, so thank you for commenting. And
yes,
Thomas wondered if to bring up our Wizards duel, if Joe Carioca and I'm going to pick Joe. He said all three birds from the Three Caballeros, but Joe in particular has the magic in him. Could he be included into the Wizards duel? Yes. However, I don't think he'd last very long.
I have a mental image of him just like exploding into a pile of feathers immediately because of the lack of power. Yep.
Although, with the mention of birds, we should start tallying up the horses, the cats, and the birds. I think that really would be.
There's a lot of
even at this point.
Three.
There's a ton of birds. Yeah.
I will make a cumulative list of all the birds, and maybe for when we get to the end of the podcast, maybe that'll be part of our finale episode. We'll go back through and we'll do a full here's all the birds, here's all the cats, and here's all the horses that were in all the movies. I'll do that for the final episode. That'll be a fun little final look back at the list that was Disney films.
Well, I actually got a tweet while we were sitting here, and it's more of a comment than a question, but it's even though you just watched this, can you name one other song besides "Unbirthday"? And to be honest,
how do you do? Say how do you do and shake hands, which is literally from this movie. Tweedledee, Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, we're painting the roses red. We're painting the roses red. We're painting... That's it. That's
and that's the entire thing.
So thank you for that tweet. If you want to tweet at us, you can tweet at Jeff with... What's wrong with me? This movie broke me, Jeff.
It's all the technology issues we had at the beginning.
Oh
Everything is just catching up to us.
You can Twitter pate at
Twitter
Jeff, at Random Bell, or at TC's Big Head if you want to reach me. And I check the Twitter feed at least before we record. I just happen to have it open here when the tweet came in now. Or like I said, you can hit facebook.com/Top Shelf Pod.
Yeah, there you go.
And leave your comments. One of these weeks, maybe halfway through the entire library, we could just do a catch up. We just do a comments episode where we just catch up on all the comments people have left and address the ones that we may have missed, because we appreciate you guys feedbacking. I usually try to respond, even if only shortly. Not shortly, briefly.
TC's really mean when he responds to people. It's weird. I don't understand why. I do want to say one thing. Somebody did tweet the Ghost Hat, or actually, real quick, David, Mr. Geisler, thank you, sir, for enjoying the podcast so far. He tweeted us. Somebody else tweeted the Ghost Hat Twitter account with a question, but for some reason I can't see the tweets anymore. I was scrambling to do it right now, and I can't get the stupid thing to show me the tweets. I am so sorry.
Do you remember what it was off the top of your head?
I thought it was a question, but it was sometime last week, and now I can't find the tweet. Let me look. Give me Nope, because see, none of them are showing up. That is so strange. I am so sorry for whomever tweeted. It was last week. I don't know why it's not showing the tweets anymore.
Hey, that's their fault. They should have tweeted at you instead of some weird old ghost hat Twitter.
Yeah, I don't understand who would tweet the ghost hat tweeter. That seems
It's probably
strange.
the tweet at you is probably like follow for a follow.
Yeah, it probably was. You know, which wait, TC, don't you don't do that? You don't follow?
Oh,
people
I
for
have.
follows?
There are so many robots following me on Twitter. It's amazing. I for one welcome our robot overlords.
I was just gonna say you're just prepping for the robot apocalypse. You're getting on the good side of them. So
I did have another comment from Thomas worth mentioning from Cinderella last week. He mentioned that the introduction of the evil stepmother, she is petting the cat like a Bond villain, and he was wondering if that's where the trope of the evil person petting a cat came from. I don't think so. I think that Dr. No or Blofeld was doing it before evil stepmother Treme.
So, well, here's the thing, though.
Am I wrong on? I must be wrong on dates here.
Dr. No came out in 1962.
Oh,
so
holy cow! Was Lady Tremaine a trendsetter?
I think Lady Tremaine was, in fact, a trendsetter. I think Dr. No was a fan of Cinderella.
There's our theory for the week, folks.
Right there. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
Challenge him.
He's got big giant ceilings. He's surrounded by blonde women. I have nothing more besides that. So.
there you go, Thomas. You've cracked the code.
That's it. I think we're done with this entire podcast series. We're good, everybody. That's where we need to end it, right there. But
well, as I mentioned before, we went from a blonde in blue to a blonde in blue to another girl in blue for our next movie.
Indeed.
Because I believe what's our next one, Jeff?
Our next film is the 1953 classic Peter Pan. And I believe you're talking about Shmi, right? As the blonde hair.
Yes.
Okay, good. That's what
I'm talking about Shmi. Oh, Captain.
I'm looking forward to seeing Peter Pan because we're still in that chunk of films. I'm like, man, I saw Peter Pan when I was like 6, probably the last time I've seen it. So I'm excited to watch it. I have seen Hook and the live action musical version from the late 80s, like the play version that was on VHS tape.
Right, with Shirley.
Oh, was it? Oh my crap! I should have looked this up.
Someone's yelling at us right now.
Sorry. And it was actually I guess. Wow, really? That was a 1960s version? Holy crap!
Yeah, you must have just saw it on replay or something.
Yeah,
on a repeat
with Mary Martin as Peter Pan. Is who it is. Yeah, from the 1960 version. I had that on VHS tape that I watched all the time as a kid. I never knew that was from 1960. I need to find that. I need to find this, guys.
I bet you could probably find it on YouTube. I'm betting. But
so that's not the version we're watching. Yes,
I do want to point out that Disney's Cinderella that we watched last week is, to me, the definitive Cinderella.
Yes.
And I think this Alice in Wonderland is the definitive Alice in Wonderland. Despite how much money the Tim Burton one made, it was just a pseudo sequel of the original, of this Disney animated one. And I think when people think Alice in Wonderland, this is the first one they think of.
Yep.
And we're going into Peter Pan, and I once again will say, that's the definitive Peter Pan. I need to rewatch it, and I may be wrong in watching in my rewatch of it, but we are in this defining era of Disney animation and what it did to pop culture.
Right, and this is what people think of whenever they think of these characters. Still even today, you could definitely argue that people are still thinking of Alice in Wonderland, even with the live action Alice in Wonderland, as the version that we saw, and definitely I could see Peter Pan as being the version that we saw as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, or will be seeing. I mean, whoops.
If we learned anything, it's that Johnny Depp is no Ed Wynn.
Nope, and he never will be.
He never will be.
Stick with Jack Sparrow, man. Stick with him. Well,
Oh, where's the rum? Oh.
where's the rum gone? Oh, wait, I found it. It's in my stomach.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. We will be back again, I believe, next week. There may be a chance we take a week off. It all depends on my schedule.
Yep.
But yeah,
We'll let everybody
thanks
know.
for doing this again, Jeff.
Well, thanks for joining me, TC. And in case you were wondering, I'm very late. I need to go for an important date. Goodbye, everybody.
Oh, come on now.
What?
You are mixing up characters and quotes here. This is
Off with their heads!
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
You're doing it wrong. I'm the one who's late. I am the one who's late.
Pish posh. It's not you. It's me. Have you ever seen my watch?
No, but I have a pocket full of fish if you want some.
You have a pocket full of what? That's
You know what,
naughty. This is on an episode for kids. What?
I'm ashamed that my White Rabbit devolved into an Adam Sandler character.
That means at any point, Adam Sandler is one step away from the White Rabbit. That's what I get from this.
And all this is staying in the episode.
It is. People are like, when is this going to end? When is it going to fade out? It hasn't faded. Why is it not fading? This has been a production of Ghost Hat Media, proud member of the Ghost Hat Network. Find them online at www.ghosthat.net.
I like the ending.